Write the story where you win. My friend Lisa told me this years ago, and I thought it was really annoying at the time. I was like, how do you write your own story? Like, don't things just happen to you? I mean, yeah, we can make decisions about, am I going to order salmon or steak off the menu, or am I going to go to the gym or not? But as far as the course of our lives, like, yeah, you can apply for the job, doesn't mean you'll get it. You can want the promotion and do everything right to get it and still not get it, right? Like, some people want to be a parent and it doesn't happen for them, or it doesn't happen on their, like, I didn't understand this concept of writing your own story. And that was years ago. And since then, I have come to the understanding through experience that we do write our own stories to some degree. We write, script the individual events, and we can't script other people. First rule of improv: you can't control the situation, but we can choose what we would like to experience and how we experience things. And it takes practice. It's a muscle that you build, like just like a physical muscle. It's a thought habit, which does create physical neural pathways. If you know anything about neuroscience, I know about this much, but I do know that meditation, prayer, those do create physiological changes in the brain. And it's also true for our thoughts, right? And most of us, our thoughts are on autopilot. We are just sort of robotically going through our day and reacting to things in our environment, and not consciously choosing our thoughts or choosing our experience, right? We think, oh, something happens and my knee-jerk reaction is that it's bad, and so therefore I experience it as bad. However, we do have a choice. We can consciously say, and it feels like a lie in the beginning, I know that this is for the best. This is happening for me, not to me, and I think it's good, therefore it will be good. The end will be good. And so how do we write the story where we win, right? Well, first of all, we don't get to know the how, all right? We choose the what, and there's a level of trust involved, because really what we all really want is we want to experience a unification, a oneness with a cleaving to, if you will. There's the Hebrew word devakus, which means cleaving to, of the force, right? The universal mind, infinite intelligence, God, whatever name you want to put on it. We want to experience a oneness, a unity with that force. So how do we do that? How do we experience? Well, there are a number of ways. Drugs and alcohol are one of them. Meditation, exercise, but also physical exercise, but also overcoming our natural reactive tendencies. So when we are on that autopilot, robotic, sort of unconscious, reactive mode, that is not a I'm buying a truck. I make these videos in my car, obviously, and I have a mount, right? I'm doing this safely. But as I'm making these videos, I see so many license plates and like sayings on trucks that are just so in alignment with the message I'm trying to communicate. So in this case, I'm looking at a truck that says, it's like a plain white truck, and then it just says in black letters, trust the original. Okay. Trust the original. And then it says underneath it in smaller letters, fast delivery. And that is so true. Trust the source, the origin. What existed before this universe of stars and trees and mountains and lakes? It was God. It was the infinite, it was the endless world, right? That's our origin. And it can deliver to us the fulfillment of our desires at the speed of light. But what is the fulfillment of our desires? It's not a physical thing. We think we want the car, the relationship, the business, whatever it is. And then we get those things and we're like, that was anticlimactic. I mean, why is it that there's so many instances of people getting what they want and then falling into depression? right? I mean, why do we get the baby blues? We wanted the baby so much, the pregnancy was so long, and the baby comes, and then we get depressed. And there are a number of there's really one core spiritual reason for that, and it's because once a desire is fulfilled, then the vessel, which a desire is a vessel, Kabbalah is all about the vessel, right? You know, people pray for fulfillment, they pray for energy, but they don't pray for the vessel to contain that energy. It's sort of like praying for a $10,000 bottle of wine. I won't even say the bottle, I'll just say the wine, to experience the wine, to drink the wine, but we don't have a glass to put it in. Or if we do have a glass, say it's like a styrofoam cup that's like dusty or like encrusted with, you know, a residue of orange Fanta. When you pour the $10,000 wine into the dusty styrofoam cup, it's no longer $10,000 wine, right? It's something else. Sort of like if you think about light, all right, if you have a flashlight and you shine it through a filter that's blue, well, now the light is blue because that's the filter. So our vessel, or lack thereof, however the light, the fulfillment, the energy comes to us, it's going to be filtered through our vessel. So I did not mean to go down this rabbit hole, but here we are, so we're just going to run with it. So when people pray and they ask for this energy, if it comes and they don't have the capacity to hold it, like it's going to be like, let's say, I mean, this is a silly example, but let's say somebody was praying for a job as a brain surgeon, okay, but they never went to school to be a brain surgeon. So, and then they got the job, and it's like, okay, tomorrow you're going to do brain surgery. It would be like, well, wait a minute, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's going to be total chaos, right? So if you think about the years of schooling and training and the money that you have to spend and the studying and the stress and the testing and all the things that go into becoming a brain surgeon, that is building the energetic vessel, the capacity, the dynamic field of energy that can hold the fulfillment known as a career of being a brain surgeon. Again, really silly example, but it's that way with everything, right? Like, you wouldn't pray for a Ferrari if you didn't have a garage to put it in, or the money to pay for the insurance, or put gas in it, or even like know how to drive a Ferrari. Like, it's out of order, as my friend John says. When you don't do things in sequence, you suffer the consequence. We want to do things in order. We do not want disorder. Okay, why did I even start making this whole video? What was I talking about? Writing the story where you win. So we are always going to be a part of a story. That energy is just going to come because you can't not live a story. You can't just literally sit in a room and do nothing all day, or like go into the desert and stay there. Life is going to happen. So what kind of life are you going to create? And again, this is where I had that resistance to my friend Lisa saying, write the story where you win. And it was in regard to some kind of challenging situation I was going through. I'm like, I'm not the decider. Like, let's say somebody's having a really hard time in a relationship. I think this was my challenge at the time. Well, there is a tendency to say, well, I don't get to write the story. This other person needs to change. And if they don't change, then that's the story. And I'm like miserable, and I either have to stay or go. And maybe I can't go because of financial considerations, or I'm embarrassed because it'll be my second divorce, or whatever. And that is not the point. You decide who you are going to be in the context of that challenge. Are you going to be the hero of your story, or are you going to be the victim? And being the hero doesn't mean that everything just works out for you, obviously, like we've all seen movies. The hero goes through challenges, but they don't succumb to their fears. They are afraid. They don't not have fears, but they are brave. They face their fears proactively. And they have the confidence to do so. Again, it's not the confidence that they are assured of success, although ultimately they are. Like, we know there's going to be a happy ending, or at least a bittersweet ending, but very often a happy ending. But they know they're worthy. That they deserve good things, but also that those good things involve challenges. Now, this is not to say we should develop some sort of belief system where we have to suffer for the things that we want to experience in life. That's obviously distorted and not healthy. But the challenge, the work, is shaping our self concept, shaping our belief system, practicing those new thoughts, rewriting the old patterns. That's writing your own story. So, the whole inspiration for this video was last night, my kids and I watched the movie Goosebumps with Jack Black. And it's a very cute idea. It's about the actual author, R.L. Stine, and the monsters in his books, like they escape the story and they're in real life. But I was thinking about how this works in our imagination. And when we're kids, of course, we're afraid of monsters and boogeymen, and they don't actually manifest in our lives the way we might be afraid or imagine them. But we do end up often living with these monsters that we create. I remember when I became a cop, my phrase that I used was, I don't like bullies. So part of the reason I became a cop was because I don't like bullies. And yet, within the department, because that was, I don't like bullies, bullies are monsters, and I had this strong emotional charge around not liking bullies, I would butt heads with supervisors that were bullies. And even in my personal life, I ended up experiencing more than one bully. And so I did write through my focus, my attention, my rumination on this dislike of bullies, because the universe doesn't hear I want, I don't want. The universe pays attention to what you pay attention to and manifests it. The universe is the production company of your movie or your story, your typewriter, your computer. But also in this movie, the author wrote in a daughter for himself and imagined her in a wonderful way. And I don't know, oh, excuse me, if the backstory was he had lost a daughter in real life, or he was lonely and he wanted a companion. But in any event, he also created something really wonderful. And I don't want to spoil the movie, so if you want to see this movie, I guess skip ahead this part of the video. But he ends up the monsters emerge from the stories and wreak havoc on this town, and he is able to rewrite the story so the monsters go back into the pages, and which also initially sucks his imaginary daughter, back into the page. But then at the end, not only, of course, does he find real life love, because you just have to if it's a comedy. That's a prerequisite. They always end in a relationship. But he also rewrites the one good character back into reality. So essentially, he rewrites the story. And through that process, not only does he get a new job, meet the love of his life, make a bunch of friends, and he also gets to have the one good character that he wrote, while all the monsters were eliminated from the story. And of course, there's all these challenges in between. So that really got me thinking, because I've not introduced myself in this video yet. I always forget to do that. I'm so homo. My name is Hannah. I am a lot of things. I'm a manifestation coach. I am a divorce and family mediator, consultant. A lot of my videos on here do center around the topic of relationships, specifically divorce, family court. It's just sort of a conglomeration, amalgamation, I don't know, of all of the different pieces of my experience. I've also studied the wisdom of Kabbalah for 20 years and really dedicated my life to this wisdom, and it really informs all of my teaching and coaching. So if you like my teaching style and you want to go deeper with me on your specific issue, there's a number of ways to work with me, but they're really all on my website, thebookofyou.life. And I am really passionate about writing our own story, not just being a character in someone else's story. As the saying goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And we get hooked in by different forces, and we end up being a puppet to the will of others. And I would submit that I'm not talking about starting some revolution and burning bridges and flipping over cars. Yes, you have to go to work every day and do the normal thing, but to consciously make these inner choices and set these outer intentions that align with the true goal of our soul, what we want, not somebody else's goal. And fine. So seeing this movie just really prompted the inspiration for this video of writing our own story, which starts with writing our own character. Who do we want to be? Our own avatar. And another movie like that's along this same vein or theme is Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell. I know there's more. I mean, it's a common storyline, right? Is that we all have our own book. We all have our own book of life with different chapters. We are all our own main character. I, I think the kids say nowadays, you got that main character energy. Except it's true. What kind of character do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What are you aware of who you're being in the moment on the grand stage of life, the theater of life? Okay, I think that is enough for today. I did not mean to ramble this long. I look absolutely gorgeous. It is, what is today? It's April as I'm recording this, and spring allergies are in full effect. So, that being the case, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. If you find this content valuable, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps push this content out into the algorithm of the YouTube world. And that's it. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.